Yo, what's going on? This is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuyapi, aka Patrick Michael Strange, and I'm back here again with the marvelous Heather Hurt. How are you, Heather?
Hi, I'm fine, thank y'all.
And of course, over from the Checkpoint Squad, my man Eldon Webster Style. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How's everybody doing?
Thank you for coming through, man, giving us fresh blood for this finale to talk all about the season ender for season 1 of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Whose show is this? So as we do, Heather's going to kind of give you a recap on the story, the plot. I'll break down the characters in this particular episode, and then we'll all three come together to give you our thoughts on whose show is this? She-Hulk Attorney at Law, episode 9. So let me toss it over to Heather. Let's go.
So we have come out of that final episode where She-Hulk has made a big demonstration of her anger and her frustration and her, well, we do that immediately following a dream sequence that was just perfect and reminiscent of the classic Hulk series. But we find that she is in the middle of kind of a, well, she's back where it all started. She is at the prison where we first saw the Abomination at the very first episode of the show. And she has to get out. She has to do a plea deal, and with that, she gets an anklet, just like every other one, every other superhero, that restricts her abilities. And she falls into a mental. Anyone would have a mental break at that point, and she goes back up to Emil's little tranquil oasis and tries to get away from society. On the other side, we have Nikki, her best friend, trying to figure out what exactly happened so that she can fight Jen's battles for her, especially since Jen has now been fired. She's been let go reasonably because she can no longer be the She-Hulk at a superhero agency. With that being said, her and Pug go out and they try to infiltrate one of Hulk King's events, and they find out not so rather obvious truth that incels will be incels, and Todd is definitely the definition of that. He has been leading on a group that has been scientifically trying to replicate her, and Jen accidentally stumbles into this meeting where there's just this big confluence of everything that happens. Titania shows up, her cousin shows up, everything just shows up here in this finite scene, and in the most comic book way possible, She-Hulk just can't. Really, they're doing another super soldier serum, another one. She takes on and leaves the MCU. She's done with it. She's over with it. And she walks into the Marvel Studios and talks with Kevin. I'm sure we'll talk about the ending. As a reminder, there will be spoilers in these reviews, so we'll talk about the ending in the review. Kuya P.
All right, I'm trying to find the voice of Kevin real quick because we're all curious, I'm sure, who is the voice of Kevin. So I didn't find it quick. So while I'm talking about some of the other actors, hopefully my team can give a quick search to help find that voice. So I'll break down the crew a little bit. Again, Kat Coro is the director on She-Hulk Attorney at Law, and specifically for this particular episode. On the writing credits, Jessica Gao, who also helped bring this to TV. So shout out to Jessica Gao. We can't forget that John Buscema is one of the creators of She-Hulk, and we'll also not forget that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby helped create Hulk, the OG. And also staff writers on this is Dana Schwartz and Cody Ziegler, per all of this from IMDb as well, y'all, where we mined for this information. To the cast, returning again, our Jennifer Walters, our She-Hulk, Tatiana Maslany, again, was familiar with her from my pal Eldon over here, Webster Style, because of Orange's, was it Orange? No, it was, what was she from Webster Style that you kept on talking
Orphan
about?
Black.
Orphan Black.
Yes.
I was mixing it up with Orange is the New Black. But yeah, Webster Style would always fanboy over Orphan Black. So I definitely, now that I'm going to be getting missing my Tatiana Maslany fix every week because of She-Hulk ending. I now need to devote that time to Orphan Black and see what Webster Style was talking all about, because she is brilliant, and I became a fan because of this show in She-Hulk. So shout out again to Tatiana Maslany. Returning again, Bruce Banner, our Hulk, Mark Ruffalo is here again, and for this finale, we have Emil Blonsky. Abomination is Tim Roth, who again kills it. Really shines as our Abomination through this series. Also can't forget Nikki Ramos, Ginger Gonzaga, who I also fell in love with this new show. Definitely gonna mine for other shows that she have done because I think she did amazing work with her portrayal as Nikki Ramos. So definitely want to show more love to other work that she's done. Also returning Titania, again, Jamila Jamil, who we know from NBC's The Good Place. If you haven't caught that, check her out there. If you're gonna want your Titania fix again, she's brilliant there. So shout out to her. Our Mallory book, Renee Elise Goldsberry. Y'all know her from Hamilton, and if y'all don't know Hamilton, man, you've been under a rock somewhere. I don't know where you've been, but you'd better get schooled up. Brilliant there. She also has amazing work. I forgot the one show that she's been on recently, right before this, where she's like I think a pop singer in that, part of like a girls group. But she's brilliant there. Go check her out there. Look up her IMDb, y'all. Like
that's the
right now.
That's the show on Peacock, right?
I think so. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Girls Forever Fire or something to that effect.
Yes, right there. There you go. Shout out to Webster Style with the
Girls
quick,
5 Eva. It's coming back. Season 2 is on its way.
Yes, there you go. Look at the squad helping out. Hopefully they're getting that Kevin for me while I'm going through the rest of this list. I see Heather doing it. All right. Matt Murdock, our Daredevil, probably the world's best Marvel lover in the MCU, per our conversation last week, Heather, right? Played by Charlie Cox, back again. We have the parents of Jennifer Walters, Elaine and Morris, played by Tess Malice Kincaid, and our perfect stranger, Mark Lynn Baker.
Cousin Larry.
Yes, there you go. Pug, Augustus Puglisi, is played by Josh Segarra. Our Hulk King, aka Todd Phelps, is John Bass. And if you stayed to the very end of the credits, Wong is back again, Benedict Wong. Wrecker is here again, Nick Gomez. Again, shout out to our homie Jacqueline, that we hope to get an interview with him, because seems, dating a friend of a friend. So hopefully we'll have Heather interviewing our Wrecker. So shout out to Nick Gomez. Aunt Melanie, Candace Rose. Uncle Tucker is played by Michael Cole. Cousin Ched, Nicholas Cirillo. Dennis Bukowski is played by Drew Matthews. And the rest of this list. Oh, can't forget this character. One last character to like really hit up. Actually two. Our Scar. If you watch this, we finally have our Scar finally from Planet Hulk. It's played by Will Dusner. And let me open that real quick, because it was brought up that, hey, he's been in comic book shows before. And yes, he's from Stargirl. So shout out to him. He is our Scar. So there we go. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about that. And the She-Hulk onset reference for She-Hulk, we got to give some props to her. Malia Araya, she's kind of like the real life She-Hulk. They obviously did CGI and had Tatiana Maslany with the whole suit on, but when they're on set, Malia Araya built like She-Hulk. Props to her. I think they also kind of use her a bit in some of the other sequences, especially in this episode. And also want to give a shout out to Devin Lewis, who played our Savage She-Hulk in the opener, where they gave the nod to the OG Hulk series. And there you go. That's it for me. I'm going to get off of this cast, bring us all up on the screen. There's Eldon, there's Webster Style. Let's get into it, guys. What do you think about this episode?
I will say this, and I've said just over the course of the series, it started good, then it was like, for me, but the last two episodes did it. And as had alluded to, that opening sort of, homage to the original Incredible Hulk series, I died laughing. I was just cracking up because it was so hilarious. And I'm sitting there like, how many people don't know what this is? Because it's not one of those shows that's in heavy rotation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
But I loved it because I grew up watching that. And just the show itself, I like the fourth wall break. It was needed because just as Heather was going through as far as the recap of the episode, it was going to that standard formula that we see, the same derivative of the super soldier, the same everybody together in this big fight scene. I love the fact it's like, okay, we have to do something different. And I absolutely loved it. I absolutely love the conversation with Kevin. I felt like it was poking fun at the MCU. Like really this whole episode for me was like poking fun at the MCU. Like they were poking fun at themselves the whole time. And I've really enjoyed that part of it. I just thought that, and again, with 8 and 9, for me, it really redeemed the series. It found its place in footing, especially in those last 2 episodes. I think it kind of meandered a little bit in the mid parts of the series, but these last 2 episodes really brought everything home. I think really for me was a show that I thought it was going to be in the beginning. And can we talk about Mark Linn-Baker? It was just so awesome seeing him on TV and in a dad role. And he has great timing. There was a reason that Perfect Strangers did so well back in the 80s/90s, and just seeing him in the dynamic. And I say on my podcast, I watched the show because of Tatiana Maslany. That woman can do no wrong, in my opinion. She can act her way out of her paper bag. And every episode, she did a great job. The cast in general did a great job. I think sometimes the story-wise just wasn't all that. But episode 9 was just really great for me. I laughed. It was such so many Easter eggs. It was just, I won't say fan service to be a bad thing, but it was one of those things where it's like, hey, we hear you. And we're going to do this because we hear what you're saying. You are fans, you are biggest critics. We hear what you're saying. And I really enjoyed that part of it.
Definitely agree. All right, Heather, what do you think about this finale? Your thoughts?
So, and at no point will I ever stand up on a soapbox during this.
Oh my gosh.
To say this.
Are you really going to do that? Because you don't do that.
I've never done it, not once.
Wow.
But we'll see how this conversation goes, because I'm just going to kind of just kind of go off of exactly what Webster Style just said. I want 100% of it, except for the ending was a little bit 50-50 for me. And when I say it's 50-50, it's because it felt like it took a weird turn, but it wasn't that it was not She-Hulk. It was a very She-Hulk ending. And this is where I'm just get stuff up there. Guys, y'all need to stop bitching about things being too comic booky. You bitch when it's not comic booky enough, and then you bitch when it's too comic booky. This is exactly what She-Hulk would do. She would totally break out of her own show and be like, nah, I'm going to rewrite this whole shit. And that's what she would do. I do feel like it had weird timing and it adjusted strange points. So like as an example, Todd took the serum. Well, now he just didn't. So where did the blood go? Is that something that's going to happen? It seemed like it was a weird cutoff. Like I would have liked them to go and redo that entire scene all over again with this new concept that Jen had been suggesting. I think that her just popping back into the scene and Todd's getting arrested seemed like a really weird way to just move back into the show. But at the same time, there were a lot of really, really great Easter eggs. It pointed out a lot of stuff. It made some very important comments that need to be said. For all of you who are still holding that Punisher Blue Lives Matter sticker, that's bullshit. For all of you incels that were specifically being called out during this, who did tank the scores on places like Rotten Tomatoes, this was a message to you and how you are being seen and how it is negatively impacting television and film. And at the same time, it's also pointing out that they are hearing things like, yeah, we got it. We're getting X-Men. We're getting X-Men. So with that being said, it was a really great point. It had it really came together with everything that they were trying to make. The ending was just how it went from A to C. There was it's like, let's just delete all of B and pretend that it all happened. That was the weird point to me.
Okay. All right. Well, man, I can't lie to y'all, man. This whole season has been amazing for me. Y'all have heard me check in every week with Heather, and they delivered again, and like did something I would never imagined they'd do. And they did it. They pulled it off. Like this is literally, again, I've been saying all season, this is She-Hulk. If you're a fan and read the comics, this is She-Hulk in its DNA through and through. This is what they do in She-Hulk. So I can't lie. So before they did that twist, I was like, oh man, because I love what it's like they took down everything that they set up the whole season. And like, man, you had all this brilliance. And I think this is to the nod what Heather said, you know, where the twist kind of was like anticlimactic for you, Heather, right? Like everything's happening. She lost her job. We're staying over here. Now she's at the retreat. Okay, so that's happening. But like, damn, I wish, you know, I want her to still have that job. I want all this to happen, but they're taking it all away. Oh man, this sucks. But then they get into this barn and this whole thing is happening. And then the whole, again, just to me, when I watched it another 3 times after I did, I think the more you watch it, I thought it was already brilliant off the top, but then when I watched it again, it just became even more brilliant. The cojones to just do what they did is insane, and they did it. And so, yeah, just it was a terrible ender if it would have did it in a traditional sense, but then they flipped it. Do this, you know, broke the fourth wall, had us go through this other area. I can see your point, Heather, coming off of that, where you would have liked some other kind of cleanup as well. But you know, it is what it is. They switched it. She's back to her job. So like when we come back to season 2, that we demand a season 2, that we can be back in this, you know, it could be the lawyer show again. We could go back into our adventures because everything's kind of set normal again. But now we have some other additional cast members with Scar, and we should get into that. But I just, man, they delivered She-Hulk in every way. This is what a She-Hulk comic is. And props, man. Like, just so good for me. Just so good. And I was kind of like Heather after the first viewing, but then seeing it again and again, because again, it was to me that damn good. Brilliant. Just brilliant. And to just have, you know, and then I was looking at an article again real quickly to try and find the voice of Kevin, which I still cannot find. Apparently it was some other voice actor. They didn't, they wanted Kevin Feige to do it, but he didn't want to do it. So it was some voice actor. So props to whoever that mysterious voice actor is. I'd like to know who. But they did it, man. Let's throw it back to Webster Style, man. What did you think of some of the reveals, and just again a little bit more on how they flipped the switch on us?
I want to talk to something that Heather said that I personally I get to my nerves. The whole MCU crap online. I'm like, look, if it's a good story, it's a good story. I don't care who the lead is. Like, I will be the first to say Captain Marvel is a bland movie. It's not because of Brie Larson. Well, my personal opinion, Brie Larson is an okay actress, but movie-wise, it was filler. That's what it was. It's not that memorable for me. It has nothing to do with her being a female. So I really hate this argument, and I like that poke in the eye that this episode did to all of those individuals who consistently talk about that. And Heather's perfectly right. How are you going to complain about it's not comic booky enough and then it's too comic booky? Like, dude, we're a bunch of grown people watching superheroes come to life. What is there to complain about? And why are you complaining? There's nothing realistic regardless of which angle you take it at. So I'm like, really? Y'all have nothing to do. So I had to address that because that personally burns me up. Good stories are good stories, good characters are good characters, regardless of what sex they are.
Dude, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna interrupt you just for a second, and then we'll go. One thing I was actually thinking about when we were watching this was the Gina Carino situation that happened, happily still blocked by her. But it's one of those where I was thinking about how they were originally going to give her own show following Mandalorian,
right,
and how she has a surplus of followers right now, specifically saying things like she deserved better, she was a great actress, she was, but I'm not going to get into all of it right now, but one of those things that really hit me was $10 says that those same people that are saying that she was the best and she deserves this would have made the exact same comments about her show if things did not happen the way they did. It would be a Star Wars is going all female and the show is terrible. And like, that's what the show really brought up. It was just like, it's only in this, it's because of these specific situations that it's looked this way, and
Right.
props to Marvel for really pointing that out. So.
No, I agree. I agree with you totally. And to Creative P's point, I think I'll probably have to rewatch that last episode again, just to get a different take. Because Heather, I agree with a lot of what you said. The ending, while that fourth wall break was great, when she came back, everything was kind of thrown in there still. It was resolution with no real resolution. And then with Daredevil kind of just like dropping out of the sky, I'm like, dude, it's broad daylight. Why is
That
Daredevil
was cute
dropping?
as hell, though. It's like,
It was
I
cute.
want that one thing.
It was just so random.
Well, but that was
me.
like, that was like the one thing that was supposed to be random, and that was a good random. Everything else was
right. No, I understand what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying. It was, but I enjoyed it overall. I definitely have to rewatch it, that last episode specifically, because I think there are probably some things I missed because I was just so overjoyed with what I was seeing in that episode, especially when she broke out into that pseudo Disney Plus menu. I'm like, oh my goodness, that was just so amazing right there. I loved that.
Yes. Everyone who was really high got real confused at that very moment in time. Like, wait, go back to the show.
What are we smoking? Is this like She-Hulk just broke out of this menu?
It was crazy.
So I actually got spoiled on that scene by an incredibly great person. He just spoils stuff like the moment he sees it. But he shared that, and he actually was the one that made the comment. He's like, I was way too high to be watching this. But he shared that scene, and I'm like, is this something on the app? Let me go to my app's not doing anything.
Right.
What's happening? But it
Exactly.
So, yo, can we actually, we gotta talk about this before we get to him. Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin. The hat! The motherfucking hat! Oh my god!
Like, how dope, how meta, how wild.
That was just so awesome.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that line where shout out to every single special effects artist on this goddamn planet?
Right. I love that. I love that they talked about, let's do it off screen because
that was always been the biggest thing with this, right? Since the jump off of this series.
It's with the entire special effects team everywhere. Like, unfortunately, they are spotlighting Marvel because Marvel has so much special effects going on right now, and they are definitely overworked. And it's an expensive endeavor, and they're not getting paid enough. Sorry, Marvel. Sorry, Disney. I know I shouldn't go against the House of Mouse, but I got to call it out. They deserve more. They deserve more time. They deserve more sleep. But it's happening everywhere, guys. It's happening at DreamWorks. It's happening at Warner Brothers somehow or another. They deserve more. And hopefully what that line means is that Marvel is paying attention to the shit that they're pulling, and
yeah,
better.
It makes you wonder if and then this is related but unrelated, with a lot of the films being pushed back recently, it makes you wonder if that's part of that reason, that gestation period for special effects and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, great point. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah. What did y'all think of the writers' room? And then where we actually had a couple of the actual writers were in there.
Oh, really? That's cool.
But there was
Gal was hanging out in the back. She was just like, she's hanging out in the corner, like.
Yeah. But they had an actor actually in the Jessica Gal role, but directly across from her was the real Jessica Gal.
Yeah, she's the one in the corner, just sitting there very quietly, like. I'm the real nerd. It's me. I'm the nerd over here. It's me.
Just so meta, so cool, and then going to actual headquarters. The NDA segment was absolutely hilarious.
Right. I love that.
Having worked on, a Marvel film, back when it was called Freezer Burn, and then later came out to be called Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Yes, that was I was involved with that. That NDA process was insane. Just so many good moments there, and just, yeah, man, I loved it. But let's fast forward a bit to this ender and this setup towards the future. Returning from Planet Hulk, Scar. Thoughts?
I need a Hulk movie.
We need that explanation too.
I don't know what the deal is with Universal and Marvel as far as those rights, especially considering Universal, what has been, it's been more than 10 years since Incredible Hulk came out. Was what, 2008, if I remember correctly?
Mm-hmm.
So it's 14 years now. I don't know when their time lapses for those rights, but they need to be lapsed so we can get a proper Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo. One of the things that I hate, and again, I'm not like a huge Mark Ruffalo fan, but he hasn't gotten a chance to really be the Hulk and really carry the weight of a film or a series. And that's something I have always wanted. His stories have always been ancillary to everything else. So you get some heartfelt moments like what we got in the Infinity War in Infinity War and the previous one. We got some heartfelt moments, but we've never really got a story focused on him. I mean, we got a Incredible Hulk, whatever you say. I liked Edward Norton in that performance. You got to see Bruce Banner as a human being. You got to see the Hulk and the savagery of it. Now that we have Smart Hulk, I want to see that dynamic. And this whole going to Sakaar, getting Scar, that potential World War Hulk storyline, Planet Hulk storyline that we kind of got in Ragnarok. We need to see something in flashbacks. We need something because he deserves to have a standalone story, especially based on this new revelation, in my opinion.
Definitely agree.
Planet Hulk is planned. I believe it was 2025 originally. So I couldn't find a definite date, but with everything being pushed back, it could be 2032 for all we know.
Right.
But that is the confirmation that we are getting Greg Pak's Planet Hulk. And Planet Hulk is a really damn good book. If you want to read a really, really good, solid, fun Hulk story arc, go grab. Oh, we lost what you said. Go grab that from your local comic shop. 1000%.
Definitely agree. Fun ride. Shout out to my man Greg Pak, who's just amazing and delivered. And Web Style is still here, y'all. I think we're having a technical issue, but we'll have him back.
There he is!
I think he had to go grab the book. So he knows what's up.
So it's such a good book. It is available in paperback, the complete series. So do grab it. Grab it. And World War Hulk. It's another really good book.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Personally, Planet Hulk is better.
I would have to agree. It was cool to come off of it, not, to continue on the story a little bit, but yeah, definitely Planet Hulk was amazing. So yeah, Scar, man, I want to know more. I don't know if y'all were catching some of the conversation about the hairline. There was some of that convo happening.
Right.
Do y'all have any thoughts about that? Webster Sauer, you smiled, so you saw that too.
It was just funny. It was funny, and I'm like, I don't care. I just want to see a good story. I just want to see a good story, and clearly they're trying to do something with the look, especially to make him different from all the other Hulks. So like, and he also seems like a very much a teenager, not so much the Scar that we kind of have in our
Ravager,
heads.
Yeah.
So it's or again, maybe all of that happened while he was away, and then he calmed down with his father now coming to the picture. There's a whole lot to be really discussed and told to the public. So I'm very excited to see what they do.
And to speak on baldness, male pattern and female pattern baldness is a completely okay thing. It can start at any age, and you are beautiful no matter what. We love you, Scar.
Definitely. I think what was cool, what I thought was cool, what the vibe was, is that they were kind of doing a nod to Asian martial arts, if you will. And that was what
kind of felt like that.
Yeah, that calm, him going through that kind of like a spiritual process. And it's a nod to how, I forgot what, Wu-Tang tribe or whatever.
The bun thing.
Yeah, that was why, to kind of foretell why he's so calm and he wasn't the Ravager sense and why he looked that way. So I think I would probably agree to that that's maybe what's happening, but we want to get to that story. I want to know that story. Why is he calm? So like you both, like give us that Planet Hulk. Let us know how it came to be that they're at this point in the She-Hulk. So throw it back there. We need that story. All right, y'all. Man, I've been loving this series. I can't talk enough about it. I'm gushing about how much I love it. And again, Webster Style, you've been talking Orphan Black for as long as I've known you, man. And so it's like I'm gonna need my Tatiana Maslany fix. She is amazing. She's brilliant.
You're gonna love it
in this.
Trust me,
So,
you're gonna love that series.
I'm gonna have to tune into that now to see how great she is. And I need more Ginger Gonzaga too.
Oh my God, 1,000%, 1,000%.
They, if we don't get another, which, you know, and that would only be because there's evil fanboys out there, but like just that mix, that this was such a great cast.
It
like,
really was.
To have Tatiana, Ginger, the dude that played Pug, they were all just great together. The parents, just a brilliant cast, man. It looked like they had so much fun on set. Yes. I don't know if y'all been following Jamila Jamil, some of the behind the scenes video that they posted of them like twerking and dancing on set, and just the camaraderie. That just, man, that they had a beautiful set family. So you could see that they really enjoyed each other's company.
Nerdy as fuck family. Oh my God, are they true nerds? Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's what made it so much easier to get through it, even though sometimes I wouldn't feel it, because the cast was so great. So I'm like, it's not because of bad acting, because clearly they're enjoying themselves as they're doing. It's just sometimes pacing and writing, and especially it's a half-hour show too. What, 26 minutes, whatever it really is. There's only so much story you can tell, and I understand that. So sometimes when it fell flat, it still was enjoyable because of the cast and because I felt their excitement and their joy in their performances. So that always makes it a lot better.
Okay, so here's a quick follow-up to that, real quick, because I know we're trying to close this out. We got 9 episodes of this versus the regular 6-episode season, and the regular episodes, I believe, are 43 minutes versus the 23 minutes. Did we like the 9-episode format with shorter episodes, or would we still like less episodes but more time?
Well, I'll say for me, y'all know I love the hell out of this show. I want more show, more episodes. They can't do no wrong with this. This has got to be up there in of all the Disney Plus offerings. I like this more than Moon Knight. I have to say, I like this more than shit. I gotta put this. I'm trying to think I'm trying to think of now my order right now. I all of a sudden started thinking about my order.
What do you think?
Right now, this trumps them all. I have to say.
I'm going to go about a little outside the box. I think this is one of those series because it is a full-on comedy. Some episodes could have been very well 26 minutes, but some episodes could have used a bit more time. I think they could have really, I agree with and this is unrelated, but it was a show on Netflix called The AO. None of the episodes were the exact same runtime. Some were damn near movies, some were 45 minutes. You never know what you were going to get when you clicked on the episode. And I think with She-Hulk, some episodes could have benefited from longer runtimes. So I wouldn't say that, we should have gotten more. And it's kind of skirting around your question. I apologize. But I think for it being so unconventional, they could have been unconventional with how they even form it, how they even pieced everything together as far as time-wise. Like, for instance, episode 8 could have gone another 10 minutes or so just because of Daredevil and that interaction and really fleshing out even more courtroom drama between the two, because that was done so well in that episode. It could have gone longer.
Yeah, I kind of now think I wanted more lawyer show. I wanted more of that legal thing. Like
yes, and that's what I missed from the show as well. There wasn't enough legal stuff for me.
And I wanted more Titania. I didn't get enough.
Yes.
I was saying that from the jump off too, because I love Jamila Jamil. And we got her in spurts, and we had that particular episode, the wedding thing, that there's a little bit more, but still.
Right.
I think at least she got her final dues in this last episode. She got in.
But yeah, I just need another season. I need more from this.
Yeah, I agree. I need another season. This is one of the ones I think I really know. She's like, I love Ms. Marvel. Depending on the Marvels, I'm on the fence for season 2. Even like WandaVision, a lot of the shows, I like the fact that they are very much one and dones or leading into a movie. This one, I need another season of. Like, I don't even need another season of Moon Knight. I just need him to reappear somewhere. I do need more Werewolf by Night, though. That's a bit different. But but I definitely want a second season of She-Hulk, because She-Hulk's such a standalone entity. And I think that's one of the things I'm loving about especially to the latter half of phase 4, there are a lot of things, including Moon Knight, that are very much standalone, where they fit into the world, but they don't have to. You don't have to say, oh, they're connected this way, they're connected that way, even though She-Hulk is obviously connected very directly, but still is one of those things where everything that happens within it is so contained that you can tell a really good story without really worrying about everything else that's going on. Kind of like outside of the somewhat crossovers, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series season 1 and 2 were. They told their own stories, then it kind of came back over to have the crossover what was going on, and then it went back and did its own thing for like basically forever after that. So that's the way I feel about it.
Okay, that's totally fair. No, it's a show. That's the thing, is that it's a show that makes you want more is never a bad thing.
Right.
It sucks because you want more, but if you want more, that means it did its job. So, and the personality of the show, the love, the compassion, you could feel it throughout the show. It is definitely a central point. We literally got introduced to so many new characters, a much wider MCU. Like, once again, wanting more, 1000% agree.
All right, so there we go. Did you have any more to add, Heather or Webster Style?
No, I am good. I think we've talked this one to death.
If you have not watched it, get your ass off the couch. Get over the CGI of the trailer. Watch it. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I will be very sad if this doesn't return for another season.
I think they might have already confirmed it.
So we better get it. This has been probably one of the best, if not the best.
Can I say something though before we? And this is something I just thought about. This is a show that, yes, we have She-Hulk, but we don't need a whole heavy reliance on CGI. And that's one of the things I really like about the show. Yes, we got She-Hulk. Yes, at times it may not have been up to Infinity War quality as far as She-Hulk. I could care less. That wasn't the point of why I watched the show. It was about the character and the characters. Yeah. And this is a show that you don't have to have a whole bunch of CGI all throughout the show to tell a really good story. And they did that, several times during the course of the season. And I really think that, you can have one episode where you don't even see She-Hulk. It's just all lawyering and it's funny slapstick sort of stuff. And there's so many ways and directions you can go with She-Hulk. And that's why probably even more so, I'm looking forward to a season 2. Outside a lot of other Marvel properties, this one is very limited as far as what you can do with this character, what kind of situations you can put her in.
I'm with it. Yeah. Let's go. I'm with it. This cast, this writing, everything they've done has been brilliant. So I gotta have more. All right, y'all. So let's sign off out of here. Heather, how can the people reach out to you? They want to talk all things She-Hulk.
Absolutely. You can reach out to me at NerdIsAHeather on Twitter and at HeatherIsANerd on TikTok and Instagram.
And for you, Webster Style.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Webster Style, on TikTok at _Webster Style, and anything and everything is Webster Style is at WebsterStyle.com.
There you go. Please send my love to these people, y'all. Follow them, subscribe, do everything, do all the things that they just said. Check them out. And as always, we are here at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. I'm Kuya P. You can follow me at The Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. I know I've totally flubbed all that up. Maybe it's Kevin. Maybe I'm going through some kind of weird Matrixy thing as well. I don't know. But let's find out in the comments. Hit me up. And let me know if y'all want to see a She-Hulk season 2. We're out of here, y'all.